Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to our zoology class, online class. The last class we studied about some 2 mark and 3 mark question answers. So I hope you all studied that question answers, and some students they completed all those question answers and they have written in on paper and they send the photos to me. Really, I appreciate you. So continuously you study all the subject. Okay, so in the last class we studied about only 2 mark and 3 mark question answers. Today we are going to study about one very important 5 mark question. Okay, it's a 5 mark question. Actually, it's a 5 mark question, but some 2 mark question, 3 mark questions, and many 1 mark questions also there. So listen very carefully. Understand, my dear students? Okay. See, today our title is our topic is birth control methods. So today we are going to study about some of the methods used to prevent the birth. Okay, here birth control meaning. First I say the definition for the word birth control. Okay, here birth control meaning the process of prevention of fertilization or the process of prevention of implantation of the fertilized egg inside the uterus is called birth control. Okay, so it's a voluntary process. Okay, as their own wish the people are doing this birth control method, this birth control. Okay, so listen very carefully. The process of prevention of fertilization or the process of prevention of implantation of the fertilized egg inside the uterus of the female reproductive system is called birth control. So for this purpose, so to avoid the pregnancy or to prevent the pregnancy, some devices are used. These devices are called contraceptive devices. Okay, so some devices or some instruments are used to prevent the fertilization process, or some methods or some devices used to prevent the fertilization or implantation or pregnancy. So these devices are called contraceptive devices. These devices are called contraceptive devices. Understand? Then now I am going to explain about the character of a good contraceptive device. Character of a good contraceptive device. Here, contraceptive device meaning you all know the devices used to prevent the fertilization or the devices used to prevent the pregnancy is called contraceptive devices. Here, the first quality or the first character of a contraceptive device, the ideal contraceptive device is it should be user friendly. That means when a person is using this device, it should not cause any problem to their body. Understand? So it should be a user friendly. So this is the first quality or first character of an ideal contraceptive device. And the second one is it should be easily available in the local area. Understand? So these contraceptive devices are maximum available in the medical field. Okay, so if the second quality or the second character of this contraceptive device is easily available. And the third one is it should not cause any side effect to the user. Sometimes some contraceptive device can cause at least side effects. So now I said 3 important quality or character of a ideal contraceptive devices. The first one is it should be user friendly. And the second character or the second quality is easily available. The contraceptive devices should be the people should get these devices easily. Okay, in the local area, from the local area. And the third quality or third character is it should not cause any side effect or it can cause a least side effect. Understand, my students? So I hope you all understood these 3 points. So first I said the meaning or definition for the birth control. Then I said the definition for the contraceptive devices. Then I said about the character or the quality of a contraceptive device. Then now we are going to study about the types of contraceptive methods or types of birth control. Normally the birth control methods are classified into 2 important types or 2 important categories. The first one is temporary birth control methods and the second one is permanent birth control methods. So the birth control methods are divided into 2 major groups. The first one is temporary birth control methods and the second one is permanent birth control methods. So first I explain all the different types of temporary birth control methods. Okay, listen very carefully. The temporary birth control methods are again divided into many types. For example, natural birth, temporary birth control methods, barrier temporary birth control methods, and intrauterine device temporary birth control methods. So, natural, barrier methods, and intrauterine device. So, these are the examples for temporary birth control methods. Then, this natural method is again classified into 4 types. Again classified into 4 types. Listen very carefully. The birth control methods are classified into 2 major groups. One is temporary birth control method and the second one is permanent birth control method. Then there are different types of temporary birth control methods. They are natural method, barrier method and intrauterine device method. Now we are going to study about some different types of natural method. First one is periodic abstinence. Periodic abstinence meaning, see, normally here the natural method, the fertilization process, the fusion of both, you all know, after the fusion of both male and female gametes only the egg is converted into or changed into fertilized egg. So here this method is used to prevent the fertilization. So these methods are used to prevent the fertilization or used to prevent the joining of both male sexual and female sexual. Okay, first one is periodic abstinence. Periodic abstinence meaning, see, normally the ovulation process takes place inside the female reproductive system about the 14th day of menstrual cycle. Ovulation, you all know, the process of releasing of ovum from the ovary is called ovulation. So the ovum is released from the ovary at the 14th day of the ovarian cycle or menstrual cycle. Understand? Then this egg or this ovum can stay inside the female reproductive system for 2 days. So 2 days after the releasing of egg from the ovary, the egg can stay inside the female reproductive system 2 days in alive condition. Understand? And the male sex cell, that means the sperm cells also can stay inside the female reproductive system for 72 hours. 72 hours means 3 days. So the egg cell can stay inside the female reproductive system for 2 days and the sperm cell or the male sex cell can stay inside the female reproductive system for 3 days, 72 hours. Understand? Understand a few? So during this period the coitus is avoided. Here coitus means sexual contact. This is called coitus. Understand? So during these 2 or 3 days, if the both male partner and female partners is not involved in the coitus or sexual activities, automatically the fertilization process is prevented. I hope you all understood this point. So the first one is periodic abstinence meaning. What are the points? I once again repeat all the points. Ovulation process takes place in the female reproductive system about the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. And after the releasing of egg from the ovary, the egg can stay or remain inside the female reproductive system for 2 days. And the male sexual sperm can stay inside the female reproductive system for 3 days, 72 hours. So during this period, if the sexual activities or the coitus is avoided, the fertilization is also prevented. There is no chance for fertilization. Understand all of you? Then second one is continuous abstinence. So first periodic abstinence over, the second one is continuous abstinence. Here the male and female partners should not involve in the coitus for a particular period. Okay, both male and female partners should not involve in any sexual activities for a particular period. So this method is called continuous abstinence. I hope you all understood these 2 methods. Then next one is coitus interrupts. This is one of the oldest method, oldest family planning method or oldest birth control method. In this method, the male partner withdraws his penis. Penis is a male sex organ, isn't it? So the male partner withdraws his penis just before the ejaculation. Here ejaculation meaning the process of removal of sperm from the male reproductive system to outside. The process of releasing of egg from the male reproductive system to outside is called ejaculation. So in this method, in this coitus interrupts methods, the male partner withdraws his penis just before the ejaculation. So there is no chance or there is no possibility for the fusion of both male and female gametes. So automatically the fertilization process is prevented. Understand, my dear students? So now we completed 3 important natural methods. And the fourth one is lactational menorrhea. Listen very carefully. Here lactational menorrhea meaning, see, after the delivery, after the childbirth, the female reproductive system needs minimum 6 months for the reappearance of normal menstrual cycle. Listen very carefully. After the birth of baby, the female reproductive system or the mother's reproductive system takes nearly 6 months for the reappearance of normal ovarian cycle or menstrual cycle. So 6 month menstrual cycle process is not takes place in the female reproductive system. Because, the reason for this condition is increased production of prolactin hormone. You all know prolactin is one of the important hormone. This hormone only responsible for the production of milk from the mammary gland. So, during these 6 months, the baby is continuously sucking the milk from the mammary gland of the mother. So, when the baby is sucking the milk from the mammary gland of the mother, automatically the prolactin hormones amount is increased in the blood of the mother. Understand? Understand? So, this is the reason for the delaying of the menstrual cycle. So, this is called lactational menorrhea. This is called lactational menorrhea. Understand? So, if the amount of this prolactin hormone is increased in the blood of the mother, automatically this hormone, listen very carefully, this prolactin hormone suppress the releasing of human gonadotrophin hormones. Gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Normally, these gonadotrophin releasing hormones are secreted by the hypothalamus region of the brain. Okay, so this gonadotrophin releasing hormones amount is reduced. And the gonadotrophin hormones also reduce. Gonadotrophin example LH and FSH, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. These two hormones are the example for the gonadotrophin hormone. So, gonadotrophin releasing hormone and gonadotrophin hormone. These two hormones are, the levels of these two hormones is reduced in the blood of the mother. Here gonadotrophin releasing hormone is produced by the hypothalamus region of the brain, and the gonadotrophin hormone both FSH and LH is released from the pituitary gland. Understand, my dear students? So, when the baby is sucking the milk from the mammary gland of the mother, the amount of prolactin hormone is increased in her blood. So, when the amount of this prolactin hormone is increased, automatically the gonadotrophin releasing hormone, FSH and LH, these hormones level is suppressed or reduced. Understand? Understand you? So this is also one of a birth control method. If menstrual cycle is not takes place, the fertilization process is impossible. Understand, my dear students? So now we completed all the 4 types of natural methods of birth control. Then next we are going to study about barrier methods. Here barrier means in Tamil we can say tadaigal. Okay, so barrier methods meaning by using some devices or by using some chemicals, the fusion or joining of both male sex cell and female sex cell is prevented. The meeting of both sex cell, the egg cell and the sperm cell is prevented. Understand? Let's listen here. See, barrier method. The first one is chemical barriers. Chemical barriers, example, some jellies, some creams, some tablets. Okay, so when the people using some types of jellies, some types of creams and some types of tablets, the chemicals which are present inside this substance prevent the fertilization process. Okay, prevent the fertilization process, or it inactivate the activity of the sperms. Understand? So by using some chemicals, the pregnancy or the fertilization process is prevented. So this method is called chemical barrier method. Here I have written only jellies. Okay, some people are using jelly, some people using cream, some people using some tablet to avoid the pregnancy. Understand? Then next one is mechanical barrier. First example, condom. Okay, maximum this condom is made up of polyurethane, latex and lambskin. So, condom is a very small thin structure. Okay, thin structure is made up of polyurethane, latex and lambskin. And this condom is used to cover the penis of the male reproductive system. And the male reproductive system, the penis of the male reproductive system is covered by the condom just before the coitus. Understand? So if the penis is covered by the condom, the sperm which is released from the testes is unable to come outside. Okay, so the deposition of sperm inside the female reproductive system or inside the vagina is prevented by this barrier. What barrier I said here? Condom. Okay, so condom is a small thin sheet. It is made up of polyurethane, latex and lambskin. Male reproductive system, that means the penis of the male reproductive system is covered by this condom. When it is covered by this condom, it is impossible to release the sperm inside the testis from the testis to outside. Here outside means inside the female reproductive system. And one more advantage for this condom is this condom can prevent the sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, example for sexually transmitted disease, AIDS we can say. Okay, AIDS is one of the important sexually transmitted disease. So this is sexually transmitted disease is also avoided because of the using of this condom. Then second example, diaphragm. Okay, here diaphragm is a thin sheet. It is also made up of latex. Understand? But this device is used by the female. That means the cervix region of the female reproductive system is covered by this diaphragm. When the cervix region is covered by this diaphragm, automatically it prevents the deposition of sperm inside the vagina. Inside the uterus. Understand a few? So the male sex organ penis is covered by a device, it is called condom, and the female reproductive system, that means the cervix region of the female reproductive system is covered by this diaphragm. Understand, my dear students? Understand a few? Then next one is hormonal barrier. Next barrier is called a hormonal barrier. See, actually hormones playing a very important role in the ovulation process. Maximum the FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Okay, these two hormones playing a very important role in the ovulation process and also in the menstrual cycle process. Okay, listen. Oral contraceptive. Example, pills. Example, pills. Listen. See, some pills, in some artificial pills, some synthetic estrogen and progesterones are there. Okay, both the estrogen, synthetic estrogen, that means artificially prepared estrogen and progesterone hormones are kept inside the pills. So when the people using these pills, automatically the FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone production is stopped in the female reproductive system. If the amount of this follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone is not produced properly, there is no chance for ovulation process. Okay, if there is no ovulation, pregnancy also prevented. Listen very carefully. So oral contraceptive devices, example pills. So in some pills, both synthetic, that means artificially estrogen and progesterone hormones are present in some pills. When the people using these pills, automatically inside the body, the amount, the production of LH and FSH is stopped or prevented. So the ovulation process is prevented. Understand? Understand, my dear students? And then Sagli, it is one of the recently discovered oral contraceptive pills. Sagli, S-A-H-E-L-I. And these pills was discovered by Central Drug Research Institute located in Lucknow. Okay, in our country, in Lucknow, one institute is there. Name of that institute is called Central Drug Research Institute. Okay, so this institute only first discovered these Sagli contraceptive pills. And one important point about this Sagli is it's a non-steroid pills. Because this Sagli contains a substance it is called centroman. Okay, centroman is a one more question also. Okay, centroman is a substance present in the Sagli. Understand, my dear students? So now we completed natural methods, then barrier methods. Understand a few? Then next one is intrauterine devices. Intrauterine devices. Listen very carefully. See, intrauterine devices meaning to avoid the pregnancy or to avoid the fertilization process. Some devices are inserted inside the uterus of the female reproductive system. So these devices are togetherly called intrauterine devices. Listen very carefully. to avoid the pregnancy or to avoid the fertilization process, some devices are inserted inside the uterus of the female reproductive system. So these devices are togetherly called intrauterine devices. These devices should be inserted by a well-qualified staff. The doctors or the people those who are working in the medical field only can insert this device in the female reproductive system or inside the uterus. Understand of you? Then these intrauterine devices gives 95 to 99% success. Okay, so 99 is one more question also. The intrauterine device giving 95 to 99% success than the other contraceptive methods or other birth control methods. Understand? Then these intrauterine devices are classified into three types. One is copper leasing intrauterine device. Second one is hormone releasing intrauterine device. And the third one is non-medicated intrauterine devices. Copper leasing intrauterine devices, hormone releasing intrauterine devices, and non-medicated intrauterine devices. Listen very carefully. Some one more questions also there. Here, copper leasing intrauterine devices. See, maximum this copper leasing intrauterine devices, when it is inserted inside the uterus, they are leasing some copper salt or copper molecules. Understand? So, when the sperm is so, already told you, these devices are inserted inside the uterus region of the female reproductive system. So, suppose just you imagine one copper leasing intrauterine device, example CUT380. Okay, this is one of the example for the copper leasing intrauterine device. So, when this device is inserted inside the uterus of the female reproductive system, when the sperm is reaching the uterus, immediately the sperm is inactivated, or the sperm is killed by the copper salt released from this device. Understand, my dear students? So Cu2-380 is one of the example, Nova-T, then Cu7. These are the example for the copper leasing intrauterine device. Very, very important. What? One more question. Understand a few? Then this copper leasing intrauterine device can be kept inside the uterus for 5 to 10 years. So it can be remain inside the uterus region for 5 to 10 years. Understand? After 5 to 10 years, we can remove these devices from the uterus. So once I repeat all these points about this device. So when these devices are inserted inside the uterus region, they are releasing more amount of copper salt and free copper molecules. So these copper salt or copper molecules destroy or inactivate the sperms. Understand a few? And they are giving, they can remain inside the uterus for 5 to 10 years. Then second one is hormone releasing intrauterine device. Example progesterone and LNG20. These two are the example for the hormone releasing intrauterine device. Listen very carefully. When this device is inserted inside the uterus, immediately they are releasing more amount of mucus-like substance or fluids inside the cervix region. So, it prevents the penetration of the sperm inside the uterus. Listen very carefully. So, hormone releasing intrauterine device is inserted inside the uterus region. But when it is inserted inside the uterus region, they are releasing some mucus-like substance inside the cervix region. Understand? So, the sperm unable to, it cannot penetrate the mucus. Okay, so if it is passed through the mucus only, it can reach the uterus region. But the fluid or the mucus present in the cervix region will not allow the sperm to pass to the next part of the female reproductive system. So here copper leasing intrauterine device inactivate the sperm or kill the sperm. This hormone releasing intrauterine device creating or producing some mucus inside the cervix region, so it prevent or it avoid the entry of sperm inside the uterus region. Understand what you meant, friends? Understand? Then next one is non-medicated intrauterine device. Non-medicated intrauterine device. Example lipase loop. Maximum these devices are made up of plastic or stainless steel. Okay, plastic or stainless steel. Example lipase loop. It is a S-shaped plastic device. This device also inserted in the female reproduction inside the uterus. Understand a few? So I hope you all understood this intrauterine device. Here intrauterine device meaning to prevent the pregnancy. Some devices are inserted inside the uterus region. They are called intrauterine devices. Maximum they are giving 95 to 99% success. And they are classified into 3 types. Copper leasing intrauterine device, then hormone leasing intrauterine device, and non-medicated intrauterine device. Understand, my dear students? So now we completed all the temporary methods of birth control. All the temporary methods of birth control. Now we are going to study about the permanent birth control. Permanent birth control. There are 2 types of birth control is there. Permanent birth control is there. One is called tubectomy and the second one is called vasectomy. Tubectomy and vasectomy. Listen very carefully. See, here permanent birth control meaning is a surgical sterilization method. This permanent birth control method is otherwise called surgical sterilization method. Because in this method, the transport of the sex cells from the production site is prevented. For example, the sperm, it is produced inside the testes, isn't it? So, from the testes, it is through the ready testes, vas efferentia, vas deferens and epididymis is coming outside. So, from the testes, it is transported to outside. So, here in permanent method, here the block, okay, the transport is blocked. Then, in the female reproductive system, egg is or the ovum is produced inside the ovary. Then it is transported through the oviduct and finally it is entered in the uterus region. So here also the transport is blocked or prevented in permanent birth control. Understand a few? Listen very carefully. This permanent birth control is otherwise called surgical sterilization method. There are 2 methods are there. One is called tubectomy and second one is called vasectomy. Very, very important 2 mark question also. Listen very carefully. See. Male reproductive major organ, testis. Just imagine this testis. Okay. So this here, this is the duct. These are the duct. Many ducts are there. Ratty testis, then vas efferentia, then epididymis, then vas deferens. Okay, like that many tubes are there, isn't it? Here tubectomy meaning. Okay, listen here. Vasectomy. Okay, first I explain about this vasectomy. Vasectomy meaning, see, a portion of the vas deferens is cut. Just imagine it's the vas deferens region. So this vas deferens tube is cut and in the both end a small knot-like structure is made. Understand? So a small knot-like structure is made on the both end of the cut vas deferens. Understand? So this method is called vasectomy. This method is called vasectomy. So the sperm is produced inside the testis is unable to come outside. It is blocked here. It is blocked here. Understand? So this type of method is maximum used. It is used in the male reproductive system. So vasectomy meaning it's a permanent birth control method performed inside the male reproductive system. So in this method, a portion of the vas deferens duct is cut and removed. Then the both end is a small knot is made on the both end. Now the transportation of the sperm is blocked here, stopped here. Understand a few? Here, to cut and made a knot in this region, a small hole is performed in the scrotum region. So through this scrotum region only, this procedure is performed inside the vas deferens. Understand a few? Then, next one is tubectomy. Tubectomy is the permanent birth control method in female reproductive system. Listen very carefully. Say ovary is a uterus region, ovary, this is a fallopian tube. Otherwise called oviduct. So, in tubectomy method, a small portion of this fallopian tube is cut and removed. then in both end a small knot is made. Now, the ovum produced from this ovary, released from this ovary, is unable to come to the uterus region. So, this method is called tubectomy. So, tubectomy meaning it's a permanent birth control method in female reproductive system. In this method, a small portion of the oviduct or fallopian tube is cut and removed. Then in both end a small knot is made. Understand? So this prevents the transport of egg from the ovary to the uterus. Understand a few? So to do this procedure, a small incision is made on the abdominal region. Okay? So through this abdominal region only, by using some devices, this technique is performed. Or through the vagina, some devices are inserted and fallopian tube is cut and small knot is made. Understand a few? So once again, I repeat this permanent birth control. This permanent birth control method is otherwise called surgical sterilization method. Okay, surgical sterilization method. So in this method, there are two methods are there. Okay, one is tubectomy and the second one is called vasectomy. In both methods, the sex cells transport is blocked. Okay, sex cells transport is blocked. Here, vasectomy meaning this is a permanent birth control in male reproductive system. In this method, in this procedure, a small portion of the vas deferens is cut and removed, and in both ends the small knot is made. So it prevents or it blocks the transport of sperm from the testis to outside. Then tubectomy is a permanent birth control method in female reproductive system. In this procedure, a small portion of the fallopian tube is cut and removed, and a knot is made on the both ends. So it prevents the transportation of egg from the ovary to uterus. Understand, my dear students? Understand you? So this is very important 5-mark question. Okay, and they won't ask this full question for 5 mark. Sometimes they will ask you to write what are the natural methods of birth control. Okay, and sometimes what are the barrier methods of birth control. Or explain about the intrauterine devices. Or explain about the permanent birth control method. Like that only they will ask. They won't ask you to write from here to here. Okay, the full topic they want to ask for 5-mark question. And already I told you many 2-mark questions and 1-mark questions also there. Understand? So I hope you all understood these question answers. Okay, so the birth control method is divided into 2 major categories: temporary and permanent method. There are different types of temporary methods are there: natural, barrier, hormonal barrier, intrauterine devices. Okay. The natural, there are different types of natural methods are there: periodic abstinence, continuous abstinence, coitus interrupts, then lactation and amenorrhea. Then barrier method, chemical barriers, then mechanical barriers, hormonal barriers. Then intrauterine devices, 3 devices: copper leasing intrauterine devices, hormone releasing intrauterine devices, non-medicated intrauterine devices. Then permanent birth control, 2 methods: tubectomy and vasectomy. Vasectomy is performed in the male reproductive system and tubectomy is performed in the female reproductive system. Understand, my dear students? So I hope you all understood these question answers. And the last class I told you, after studying the question answers, immediately you write and send to me. And I told you some students, okay, I really appreciate you, those who send the question answers to me through WhatsApp. Okay, so today also study these questions. It's a very important 5-mark questions and many 2-mark, 1-mark, 3-mark questions also there. So all should study this question, and if you have interest, if it is possible, write in paper and send to me to my WhatsApp number. Understand a few? Thank you. See you in the next class.